First, let's talk about the concept of masculine polarity. Most men today are lost in a sea of confusion about what it means to be truly masculine. Modern society has created a generation of men who are afraid to express their essence. They have become diluted versions of themselves, trying to please everyone, being politically correct all the time, suppressing their natural instincts. And guess what the result is? Women who see them as friends, as brothers, as anything but potential, romantic partners. Masculine polarity isn't about being macho or disrespectful. It's about embracing your fundamental nature as a man. It's about having a clear direction in life, making decisions with conviction, leading with purpose. When you embody this energy, you create a magnetic field around you. Women feel this instantly. They are biologically programmed to respond to this energy. It's a primal attraction that transcends words or appearances. You may not be the most handsome guy in the room, but when you emanate this authentic masculine energy, you become the most desirable. Think about how you've been behaving lately. Have you been constantly seeking approval? Have you been changing your opinions to please others? Have you been avoiding conflict at all costs? Every time you do this, you are diluting your masculine polarity. You are sending subconscious signals that you don't trust yourself, that you need external validation to feel complete. And that, my friend, is the opposite of what attracts. Female attraction responds to certainty, solidity, the unshakable presence of a man who knows who he is and where he's going. When you develop this polarity, your interactions change completely. You stop chasing and start attracting. You stop begging for attention and start commanding it naturally. If you're finding this interesting, like this video now so more men can access this transformative information. Comment on what your biggest challenge has been with women. Let's create a community of men who support each other on this journey. Second, we need to talk about the power of calibrated sexual tension. Most men fall into one of two extremes. Either they are completely asexual in their interactions, treating women as if they were their grandmothers, or they are excessively sexual, making inappropriate comments and creating discomfort. Neither works. Mastery lies in creating a subtle but palpable sexual tension. It's the art of communicating interest without being too obvious, of creating an atmosphere charged with possibilities without crossing boundaries. This tension is created through micro-behaviors. The way you hold eye contact a second longer than socially expected, the way your voice gets slightly deeper when you talk to her, the way you confidently occupy space without invading hers. Sexual tension isn't about what you say, but how you say it. It's about the underlying energy in every interaction. When you master this, every conversation becomes electrified with possibility. She feels butterflies in her stomach without understanding exactly why. You create a unique emotional experience that keeps her thinking about you long after the encounter ends. Many men are afraid to express any kind of sexuality because they've been conditioned to believe it's wrong or disrespectful. But suppressing your sexuality is denying a fundamental part of who you are. Women want to feel that you desire them as a woman, not just as a friend or co-worker. The key is to express this in a calibrated, respectful, but undeniably present way. Imagine yourself in a conversation with an attractive woman. Instead of nervously averting your gaze or staring intensely, you maintain relaxed but penetrating eye contact. You smile genuinely, but there's something more behind that smile, a subtle suggestion of deeper interest. When she speaks, you truly listen, but your body language communicates that you're not just a helpful friend, you're a man who sees her as a woman. This dynamic creates a dance of attraction where both feel the chemistry growing, but no one needs to verbalize it explicitly. Third, let's explore the concept of emotional abundance versus scarcity. This is perhaps the most decisive factor between men who naturally attract and those who repel. When you operate from a place of scarcity, every interaction with a woman becomes pressure-filled. You feel like you need to make it work because opportunities are rare. This energy of desperation is instantly perceived and creates a repulsive dynamic. On the other hand, when you cultivate an abundance mindset, you interact from a completely different place. You're not trying to get something from her. You're offering an experience, sharing your energy, but without needing a specific outcome. Emotional abundance doesn't mean having multiple women or being a serial dater. It means being so internally fulfilled that you don't need external validation to feel complete. When you reach this state, something magical happens. Women sense that you're different. They realize you're not trying to take something from them, but rather add value to their lives. This completely reverses the traditional dynamic of pursuit. Suddenly, they want to invest in you, want to earn your attention, want to be chosen by you. Developing emotional abundance requires deep inner work. It means building a rich and meaningful life that doesn't depend on romantic relationships to be complete. It means having hobbies you love, deep friendships, purposes that move you. When your life is full, you don't project need. You project fullness, and that is irresistibly attractive. Women want to be part of an exciting life, not be the center of an empty one. When you build this foundation, attraction becomes a natural byproduct of who you are, not something you need to desperately chase. Think about what your life would be like if you woke up every morning genuinely excited about the day, regardless of whether or not you had a date. Imagine having so many interests and passions that adding a woman to your life would be a wonderful bonus, but not a necessity. That's the energy of abundance, and it completely transforms your interactions. You stop asking boring interview questions because you genuinely aren't trying to impress. You share your passions because they naturally overflow from you. You become magnetic because you are living a magnetic life. Fourth, we need to address the art of strategic vulnerability. There's a persistent myth that men should be impenetrable fortresses, never showing emotion or weakness. This is not only impossible to maintain, but it also creates a barrier to genuine connection. Women don't fall in love with perfect robots. They fall in love with real human beings with emotional depth. The key is knowing how and when to reveal your vulnerability in a way that builds attraction instead of destroying it. Strategic vulnerability isn't about dumping all your problems and insecurities into her lap. It's about sharing genuine aspects of your journey in a way that demonstrates strength through overcoming. When you share a difficulty you've overcome, you're showing that you're human but resilient. When you admit a past mistake and the lesson you learned, you demonstrate growth and maturity. This form of vulnerability creates deep emotional connection because it allows her to see beyond the surface. She realizes that you're strong enough to be honest about your imperfections, confident enough to not need to maintain a perfect facade. This is incredibly attractive because it communicates authenticity and emotional depth. Timing is crucial when it comes to vulnerability. Revealing too much too early creates discomfort and pressure. Never revealing anything creates distance and superficiality. Mastery lies in letting vulnerability emerge naturally as the connection deepens. It could be a moment where you share why you chose your career, revealing the deeper motivations behind the decision. It could be a story about a moment that changed your life perspective. The important thing is that it's genuine, contextual, and reveals layers of who you are beyond the surface. Many men confuse vulnerability with emotional weakness. They think that being vulnerable means crying on her shoulder or seeking her maternal support. This is a fundamental mistake. Attractive vulnerability is about emotional courage, not emotional dependence. It's about being strong enough to be real, not too weak to maintain composure. When you master this distinction, you become three-dimensional in her eyes. You're no longer just another guy trying to impress. You're a complex human being with depth, history, and substance. If you're learning something valuable here, subscribe to the channel right now and hit the notification bell. Share this video with that friend who needs to hear these truths. Let's expand this network of men who are raising their game authentically. Fifth, let's talk about the power of calibrated mystery. In an age of social media overexposure, where everyone shares every detail of their lives, maintaining an element of mystery has become a lost art. Mystery isn't about being evasive or playing mind games. It's about understanding that attraction grows in the space between the known and the unknown. When you reveal everything about yourself immediately, you remove the possibility of discovery. You become an open book that can be read and quickly forgotten. But when you keep layers to be gradually uncovered, you create a journey of exploration that keeps the interest alive. Calibrated mystery works because it activates natural human curiosity. When she senses that there's more to you than meets the eye, when she perceives unexplored depths, something primal is activated. She wants to know more, understand more, discover more. This creates a natural emotional investment where she finds herself thinking about you, imagining the parts of your life and personality that she doesn't yet know. It's a powerful psychological hook that keeps you on her mind long after you've parted ways. Creating mystery doesn't require lies or manipulation. It's simply about not giving everything away at once. When she asks about your weekend, you don't need to give a detailed report of every hour. You can share an interesting highlight and leave the rest to the imagination. When she inquires about your past, you can reveal enough to satisfy immediate curiosity while making it clear that there's much more to discover. This isn't being evasive, it's being strategic with your revelations. Mystery also extends to your emotions and thoughts. Many men make the mistake of verbalizing every feeling and thought they have. They declare their feelings too early, express every insecurity, share every observation. This completely removes emotional mystery. When you maintain some level of emotional unpredictability, when she can't read you like an open book, you maintain a psychological advantage. She finds herself working to understand you, to gain access to your deeper thoughts and feelings. This investment of effort creates valuation. Sixth, we need to explore the importance of continuous self-development and life purpose. Nothing is more attractive than a man on a mission. When you have a clear direction in life, when you're actively pursuing meaningful goals, you emanate an energy that's impossible to fake. Women are instinctively drawn to men who are building something, who have ambition and drive. This doesn't mean you need to be a CEO or a millionaire. It means you need to be actively engaged in your own growth and have a vision for where you're going. A man with purpose doesn't have time for mind games or desperate pursuits. He's busy building his life, pursuing his passions, creating value in the world. This energy is intoxicating to women because it communicates that you are a man of substance, not just another bored guy looking for entertainment. When she becomes part of your life, she feels like she's joining something bigger, not just filling a void in your existence. Developing purpose requires honest introspection. What truly moves you? What would you do if money weren't a concern? What legacy do you want to leave? These aren't easy questions, but finding authentic answers to them transforms you into a man with gravity of his own. You stop orbiting around women waiting for validation and start creating your own orbit that naturally attracts others into your gravitational field. Continuous self-development also communicates that you are an investment that appreciates over time. While many men stagnate after their 20s, you continue to evolve, learn, and grow. You read books, develop new skills, explore new interests. This growth mindset is extremely attractive because it suggests that life with you will be a continuous adventure, not a monotonous routine. Women want to be with men who inspire them to be better versions of themselves, and you can only do that if you are committed to your own growth. Seventh, let's address the importance of physical presence and body language. Your body communicates a lot before you even open your mouth. The way you move, how you occupy space, how you gesture, all of this sends powerful signals about who you are. Many men drastically underestimate the impact of their physical presence. They move apologetically, occupy the minimum amount of space possible, maintain a closed and defensive posture. This communicates insecurity and low social status before a single word is exchanged. Developing a commanding physical presence doesn't require being tall or muscular. It's about how you inhabit your body, regardless of your physical build. When you move with purpose, when your gestures are deliberate instead of nervous, when you maintain an open and expansive posture, you communicate confidence on a primal level. Women perceive this instantly. They feel your energy before they even consciously process what they're observing. Body language also includes how you touch. Many men either avoid touch altogether for fear of appearing invasive, or they touch in a clumsy and uncomfortable way. Calibrated touch is a powerful tool for building attraction. A light touch on the arm during a laugh, a hand on her back as you guide her through a doorway, a warm but not desperate hug when saying goodbye. These small moments of physical contact build comfort and intimacy gradually. They communicate that you are a physical man comfortable with closeness, not a nervous boy afraid of human contact. Your body language also manifests in how you handle the space around you. Attractive men move through the world as if they belong. Wherever they are, they don't apologize for existing. They don't shrink into corners, they occupy space naturally and comfortably. This doesn't mean being arrogant or invasive. It means being genuinely comfortable in your own skin and in the space you occupy in the world. If this content is opening your mind to new possibilities, leave your comment now on which insight impacted you the most. Your participation helps create a community of men committed to personal excellence. Eighth, we need to talk about the art of magnetic conversation. Most men approach conversations with women like job interviews. They ask generic questions, give safe answers, and keep everything at a superficial and boring level. Magnetic conversation is completely different. It's about creating an emotional experience through your words, not just exchanging information. It's about taking her on an emotional journey where she feels curiosity, intrigue, humor, tension, and connection. The key to magnetic conversation is understanding that women connect through emotions, not facts. When you tell a story, it's not about the precise details, it's about how you make her feel. When you ask a question, it's not about obtaining information. It's about creating an opportunity for emotional connection. This requires you to get out of logical mode and into experiential mode. You stop thinking about what to say next and start feeling the flow of the interaction. Magnetic conversation also involves the strategic use of humor, light teasing, and unpredictability. When you can make her genuinely laugh, when you can playfully tease her without being offensive, when you can surprise her with unexpected observations, you create an emotional roller coaster that's addictive. She never knows exactly what to expect from you, and this keeps her engaged and invested in the interaction. Silence is also a powerful tool in magnetic conversation. Many men are so afraid of silence that they fill every pause with nervous chatter. But silence creates tension, and tension creates attraction. When you're comfortable with pauses, when you can maintain eye contact during a moment of silence without feeling uncomfortable, you demonstrate a confidence that's palpable. These moments of silence also give her space to process the interaction and invest more in the conversation. Ninth, let's explore the concept of natural leadership in interactions. Women are biologically attracted to men who can lead. This doesn't mean being domineering or controlling. It means having the ability to make decisions, create experiences, and guide interactions naturally. Many modern men have completely abdicated this responsibility, always asking what she wants to do, where she wants to go, what she prefers. While consideration is important, constant indecision is deeply unattractive. Leadership in interactions means having a plan but being flexible. It means suggesting activities with confidence but being open to input. It means taking the initiative in creating memorable experiences instead of leaving everything to chance. When you lead in this way, you remove the pressure from her to make all the decisions and allow her to relax into her feminine nature. This creates a polarity dynamic that amplifies attraction. Leadership also manifests in how you guide conversations and interactions. Instead of letting conversations die on boring topics, you steer them toward more interesting territories. Instead of accepting negative energy or boredom, you actively shift the tone to something more positive and engaging. You become the conductor of the interaction, creating a symphony of emotions and experiences that she wants to continue experiencing. Natural leadership also means setting and maintaining your standards. Many men lower their standards desperately trying to please women. They tolerate disrespectful behavior, ignore red flags, compromise their values. This communicates low value and desperation. When you maintain clear standards and are willing to walk away if they're not met, you communicate that you value yourself. Paradoxically, this makes women work harder to meet your standards, increasing their perception of your value. 10th, we need to address the importance of emotional intelligence and social calibration. The ability to read social situations, understand nonverbal dynamics, and respond appropriately is fundamental to attraction. Many men operate on autopilot without noticing the subtle signals that women constantly send. They miss opportunities, create uncomfortable situations, and fail to build attraction because they aren't emotionally attuned. Emotional intelligence in attraction contexts means noticing when she's interested and when she's not. It means knowing when to advance and when to retreat. It means understanding the emotional subtext behind words. When you develop this skill, you stop forcing interactions that aren't flowing and start amplifying those that have potential. You become a master at creating and maintaining emotional momentum. Social calibration also involves understanding context. What works in a nightclub doesn't work in a coffee shop. What's appropriate on a date isn't in a professional setting. Emotionally intelligent men adjust their energy and approach based on context without losing their essence. They are like water, maintaining their fundamental nature while adapting to the container. Developing emotional intelligence requires conscious practice. It means paying attention not only to what people say, but how they say it. It means observing body language, changes in tone, micro-expressions. It means developing genuine empathy that allows you to connect with her emotional experience. When you operate from this place of heightened emotional awareness, your interactions become synchronized dances instead of clumsy stumbles. Now let's integrate all these elements into a cohesive approach. A truly attractive man isn't the one who masters a specific technique, but the one who embodies all these principles in an authentic expression of evolved masculinity. He has the masculine polarity that creates initial attraction, the calibrated sexual tension that builds desire, the emotional abundance that removes desperation, the strategic vulnerability that creates connection, the mystery that maintains interest, the purpose that demonstrates value, the physical presence that commands attention, the magnetic conversation that creates experience, the natural leadership that guides interactions, and the emotional intelligence that calibrates everything. When you integrate these elements, you stop trying to attract women and start being naturally attractive. The difference is fundamental. One is based on effort and technique, the other on being. One is sustainable only temporarily, the other becomes a permanent part of who you are. One attracts women who respond to tricks, the other attracts women who respond to substance. The path to embodying these principles isn't about immediate perfection. It's about consistent practice and gradual growth. Every interaction is an opportunity to practice one or more of these elements. Every day is a chance to develop further in the direction of the man you are becoming. The important thing is to start, even imperfectly, and maintain momentum. Remember, the journey to becoming truly attractive is primarily an inner journey. It's about developing qualities and characteristics that transcend physical appearance or social status. It's about becoming a man of substance, depth, and presence. When you focus on this, attraction becomes a natural byproduct of your personal evolution. If you've made it this far, you've already demonstrated a level of commitment that separates you from the majority. Now it's time to act. Choose one principle that resonated most with you and start practicing it consciously in the next 24 hours. Observe how interactions change, how responses shift, how your own energy transforms. This is just the beginning of your journey to becoming the man who naturally attracts what he desires. The transformation you seek isn't in some magic technique or secret formula. It's in awakening the man who already exists within you, but has been suppressed by social conditioning, fear, and confusion. It's in embracing your authentic masculinity while developing the emotional sophistication to express it in a calibrated way. It's in becoming a man who adds value to every interaction simply by being who he is. Comment now on which of these principles you will implement first. Subscribe to the channel and activate all notifications so you don't miss any content. That will accelerate your evolution. Share this video with men who are ready to raise their game. Together, we are creating a new generation of men who understand that true attraction comes from the inside out. Your transformation journey begins now. The question is, are you ready to become the man you were born to be?